everyone. Today I am going to tell you about the great epic of India, Mahabharata, composed by sage Vyasa with the help of Lord Ganesha. Once there were three brothers, Pandu, Dhritarashtra and Vidura. They were treated like brothers by the granduncle Bhishma. Pandu married Kunti and Madri. They gave birth to five sons: Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, and the twins Nakula and Sahadeva. The sons of Pandu were called the Pandavas. The blind king Dhritarashtra married Gandhari. Gandhari decided to share her husband's blindness, so she blindfolded herself. Before the marriage, Dhritarashtra and Gandhari gave birth to 100 sons called the Kauravas. From childhood, the Kauravas hated the Pandavas. They always plotted to kill the Pandavas, but the Pandavas, with their wit, escaped all the wicked plans of the Kauravas. When they grew up, they married Draupadi, the daughter of King Drupada of Panchalya. Later, they performed the Raj Surya Yagana, and Yudhishthira became the emperor of Indraprastha. The Kauravas became jealous of the success of the Pandavas. Duryodhana said to his uncle Shakuni, who was an expert in the game of dice and cunning, "Uncle, is there no way we can snatch the kingdom of the Pandavas?" Shakuni said, "There is. Yudhishthira is an addict to the game of dice, and I'm sure we will win." So Duryodhana sent an invitation to Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira knew that it was a plot by the Kauravas, but he also knew that if he refused the invitation, then it would create misunderstanding. So he had no other option than to agree. When he reached Hastinapur, the game started. Shakuni played instead of Duryodhana. The Pandavas lost everything and even their kingdom. Shakuni said to the Pandavas, "Yudhishthira, this is the last chance for you. If you win, then whatever you have lost so far will be returned to you. But if you fail, then you will have to go to the forest for 12 years with your brothers." Yudhishthira agreed. This time also, luck was in the favor of the Kauravas. The Kauravas rejoiced. Duryodhana said to his brother Dushasana, "Dushasana, bring Draupadi here." Dushasana dragged Draupadi by pulling her hair. He insulted Draupadi by pulling her sari. Draupadi prayed to Lord Krishna, the cousin of the Pandavas. Just then a miracle took place by him. Draupadi's sari became endless. Finally, Dushasana was tired. Shakuni said to the Pandavas, "Live in the forest for 12 years. Then, for one more year, you have to hide your identity. If recognized before the 13th year, then you will have to again go to the forest for 12 years. So the Pandavas enjoyed the exile in the forest for 12 years. When the 12 years ended, they decided to spend their 13th year in the kingdom of Matsya, ruled by King Virata. So when they reached the kingdom, they got different jobs. Yudhishthira, disguised as a priest, used to play the game of dice with the king. Bhima was appointed cook. Arjuna, disguised as a woman, was appointed to teach his daughter Uttara dance. Nakula and Sahadeva were appointed to look after the horses in the king's stable. Draupadi was appointed the maid companion of the Virata's queen. However, Virata's brother-in-law and commander-in-chief Kichika was a wicked man. He started insulting Draupadi. Draupadi complained everything to Bhima. Bhima promised to kill Kichika. The next day, in the dancing hall, Bhima killed Kichika and kept his promise made to Draupadi. The news of the death of Kichika spread everywhere. It reached the ears of the Kauravas. Duryodhana said to his uncle Shakuni, "Did you hear the news from Matsya that Kichika has been killed?" Shakuni said, "Only a giant killer like Bhima could have killed him." Duryodhana made a plot to find the Pandavas. He said, "Let us attack the king of Matsya from the north, and let the king of Trigata, Susarma, attack him from the south." Shakuni said, "Excellent! If the Pandavas are hiding there, then they will surely come to rescue Virata." So Susarma attacked the kingdom. Yudhishthira and Bhima fought with Susarma, and Susarma had to sound retreat. Meanwhile, Uttara's brother and Virata's son Uttara heard that the Kauravas were attacking from the north. In the absence of the king, he had to attack the Kauravas. However, without a charioteer, it was impossible. He saw the driving skill of Arjuna and accepted him as his charioteer. Uttara said to Arjuna, "I can't fight those mighty generals, Bhishma, Drauna, and Karna." Arjuna said, "Don't worry, I'll show you the weapons of Arjuna." Arjuna led Uttara to a tree where he had hidden his weapons. When Uttara found the weapons, he said, "These are indeed the weapons of Arjuna, but how did you know that they were here?" Arjuna introduced himself. So Uttara and Arjuna attacked the Kauravas. The Kauravas were defeated. Duryodhana said to his granduncle Bhishma, "I've been defeated, and that too by a woman. What a shame!" Bhishma said, "That was no woman. That was Arjuna, the Pandava prince." When Uttara reached the court of Matsya, Virata had almost reached before him. Uttara said to the king, "Father, this woman is Arjuna." Virata said, "Oh, now I see. The priest is Yudhishthira, the cook is Bhima." Virata asked Arjuna to accept his daughter Uttara as Arjuna's bride. Arjuna refused as he had already taught Uttara dance and asked the king to give Uttara hand in marriage to Abhimanyu, Arjuna's son. Virata was agreeable. So the marriage of Abhimanyu and Uttara took place. Meanwhile, in Hastinapur, the Kauravas rejoiced as the Pandavas were discovered. Bhishma said to Duryodhana, "However, Duryodhana, your calculation is wrong. The day we discovered Arjuna, the 13th year had ended. You must return the kingdom to them." The Kauravas refused. When the news reached Yudhishthira, he said to his cousin Krishna to convince the Kauravas to give his share. Krishna tried, but he failed. He had to return disappointed. So the preparations for the battle were over. Bhishma became the commander-in-chief of the Kaurava forces, and Krishna became the charioteer of Arjuna. On the first day of the battle, the Pandavas suffered heavy losses. On the second day of the battle, the Kauravas, intoxicated by their earlier victory, and were careless and overconfident. So they had to suffer heavy losses. So the war ended. So the battle went on, sometime favoring the Pandavas, sometime the Kauravas. On the ninth day in the Pandava camp, Yudhishthira said, "Our only hope lies in getting rid of Bhishma." Arjuna said, "Let Shikandi attack Bhishma tomorrow. Grandfather will not attack him as she was born a woman." So the next day, Arjuna attacked behind Shikhandi and killed Bhishma. Bhishma was wounded on a bed of arrows. He was provided pillow and water by Arjuna. He died after 58 nights. Drauna now became the commander of the Kaurava armies. On the 13th day of the battle, Abhimanyu was killed. Jayadratha was the cause of Abhimanyu's death. So Arjuna promised to kill Jayadratha before sunset. He also promised that if he didn't kill Jayadratha before sunset, then he would commit suicide. The next day, Arjuna, with Lord Krishna's help before sunset, killed Jayadratha. On the 15th day of the battle, the Pandavas were unable to defeat Drauna. Krishna had an idea to defeat Drauna. There was an elephant in the Kaurava army by name Ashwathama. Ashwathama was the son of Dronacharya. So Bhima killed the elephant Ashwathama. The Pandava armies rejoiced by saying, Ashwathama is dead! Ashwathama is dead! Dronacharya asked Yudhishthira, Yudhishthira, is my son Ashwathama killed? Yudhishthira murmured, Ashwathama is really killed. I mean Ashwathama the elephant. Drona heard only the first sentence said by Yudhishthira. He couldn't bear the loss of his son. He threw his bows and arrows and meditated. While meditating, Drishtadyumna, brother of Draupadi and son of King Drupada, beheaded Drona. Thus it was the end of the great Dronacharya. Karna now became the chief of the Kaurava forces. He was killed by Arjuna. Shakuni was killed by Sahadeva. And Dushasana was killed by Bhima. When Duryodhana heard the news of the death of Karna, Shakuni, Dushasana and Shalya, he was very much sad. He went to the pond and jumped into the water to cool his anger. When the Pandavas discovered Duryodhana in the pond, they said to him, Duryodhana, are you willing to give up your evil deeds? Duryodhana said, no. Are you willing to fight with me? Bhima said, yes, I'll fight with you. So the battle between Duryodhana and Bhima started. Bhima broke Duryodhana's thigh. That night, Ashwathama, the son of Drauna, decided to avenge the death of his father. He went to the Pandava camp with two of his friends, and mistaking the Pandava sons to be the Pandavas, he set fire. The Pandavas had won the kingdom, but there was great sorrow in them. All the sons of Draupadi had been killed. Lord Krishna consoled them by saying, Yudhishthira, don't grieve over the past. Go back and rule the kingdom wisely. Yudhishthira went back to the kingdom and ruled the kingdom for many, many years. Thank you.